Young fam in the building, and obviously we've finished watching. You finished watching my playthrough of Nier Automata, and I wanted to give my final thoughts on the game and just how I'm feeling and how I thought the game was. So let's just start off here with the gameplay. Hack and slashing. It's literally hacking and slashing. You're literally half the story. Actually, there's gonna be spoilers. So if you actually, is there gonna be spoilers? Yeah, there probably is going to be, because I've just played the game and I'm not going to think about what not to do. You've seen me play the game, so if you've seen me play, these are my own thoughts. These are my thoughts. So basically, these are my thoughts on Nier Automata. Self of the gameplay. Hacking and slashing. You're literally hacking and slashing. You're hacking and slashing. And then the next playthrough where you play as 9S, you literally are actually hacking into robots. So I think just as that as a play on the word and hack and slash, I think that's quite clever. However, getting down to the gameplay, I do enjoy the gameplay. However, I don't like to have to search and what's the word? Grind through the game to get better gameplay aspects of it, if you know what I mean. The upgrading system I didn't like because you had to go and grinding. Now, people do like that, but I don't really like having to. With a hack and slash, I like stuff to just be unlocked as I play. Because with hack and slash, I don't go to hack and slash to actually have to grind to get better weapons. I like hack and slashes that give you the weapons as you play that can upgrade to it. I felt that the pod that you use, on the left trigger, that the powerful beam you use or the sword, was quite a useless addition. I didn't know how to level my pod up because the thing is, I don't really do my due diligence with games. I'm the casual gamer. I am the casual gamer. So I don't really do my due diligence. Only when I really want to find something out where I go and Google it. So I don't like how they didn't make it obvious enough how to level up your pod. I think that the shooting, how they incorporated bullet hell into this game was really good. I've never played a bullet hell game. This is the kind of be my first kind of After playing this game, I'm not going to play a bullet hell game. I'm not a fan of it, but I do like how they entwined it with the hack and slash element. I also like how they've got different characters with different gameplay styles. So even though I wasn't a fan of the actual hacking into robots, doing it over a period of time, I did appreciate that the first playthrough you played just hacking, that actually just attacking. Second play, it was more of a hacking style where you actually hacking into robots. And the third one was a mixture of both. I was not a fan of the boss battles in this game. The reason I wasn't a fan of the boss battles in this game was because I felt that they weren't... The design of them wasn't as neat as I would have liked it. It felt like you were literally just scrambling in these boss battles. You're just trying to hack at any point, which I do feel is good, but I feel I only like that type of gameplay where you're literally hacking at the boss at any time if the boss is actually having some repercussion going to him, because it actually feels like it's a slug not effect. When you're hitting a boss and they're literally unaffected, I feel like I'm not really doing anything to the boss. I'm literally just feeling like you're hitting something that is not taking any damage and all of a sudden it dies, and I don't like that feeling. I like boss battles like say in Azura's Wrath, when you're hitting enemies, because that's actually like you're just slugging out between you two. When you're actually slugging out between you two, I really like that because I like the feel of just a dirty fight. I like that feel. But this one literally just felt that you were hacking at this machine and it randomly died at one point. The enemies also in this game, going back to the bosses, are hard. But I feel like they aren't hard because the boss itself is a difficult boss. It's maneuvering in a way that's hard. I feel like it's literally just hard for the sake of being hard at some points. Like when I was fighting the boss with the boss that was loads of different balls, I felt like it was literally just being hard and shooting for the sake of being hard. There wasn't actually, I felt like there was no skill. That's the part of this game. I feel like sometimes there's no actual skill to this game to actually be in it. Literally you're just hacking and slashing away and healing yourself. I kind of don't like the element because like I like the idea that I'm dodging at perfect times and I'm countering. Sometimes the dodging felt redundant because if you dodge something and you counter it, I like it that the enemy feels the repercussions of your dodge and counter. However, in this game, you can dodge and counter, but the enemy will just keep coming. Or it's like your counter attack didn't do really anything to the enemy. So that's one thing I didn't like. I felt like I was dodging. It all looked cool, but actually when it comes to the gameplay, I wasn't actually really impacting and being skillful with my gameplay. I literally felt like it was the type of hack and slash where you're literally dodging for the sake of not getting hit rather than dodging for using that dodge as an opportunity to impact your enemy again. Didn't really like that. going to the normal enemies, I felt like there was a variety. However, because how all the enemies looked, it kind of felt blandish. At one point, I felt like once I'd seen enemy types, I didn't really clock they were different because they looked the same. Which brings me on to what I actually really don't like about this game, which is the art style. When it comes to the enemies, the art style of the general game is quite dank and depressing, and I'm not really a fan. I like stylistic games where there is energy into the design. So even if it's trying to be kind of like a game, I really like Suda 51 game. For some reason, I compared this game to Suda 51 game because I really like how energetic the art style and the flair of it to the game. Even when the game is like dank and like hostile settings, like it was in, I can't remember what the game is, but the game where you're shooting, you're on like you're doing a track to hell and you're shooting people and you're trying to get your girlfriend back from the devil, the thing like that. Even though such a dank and despairy game, the art style still think that it injects life. I thought this game was a very bland, there was just a bland like grey to it, just dreariness to it. And I think that really showed them the enemies. All the enemies feel and look the same. When I say they feel the same, I mean in the actual visuals, they're all dark, they're all grey. And even when they try and switch up and making them royal art guards or like a jester, they still all just feel the same. Like, they don't look different enough, which I feel that got me like, every area, even though it looked the same, it felt the same. They all just felt like these dank, destroyed earth, which I didn't really like. I'm not gonna lie. Other people, that's there, but this is my own opinion. My own opinion I didn't really like. I just felt all felt the same. That's really what I did. Like, playing the game, I felt like I wasn't really going to different places. I felt like this was all one same world, and it was literally just different rooms in the same house. The world just had the same feel to it, which I didn't enjoy. I thought it was going to be very, very, very much different and brighter. But I understand why the art style is like that when it comes to the characters and kind of the idea that this world is literally uninhabitable, like it's destroyed, because this world feels like a place that I wouldn't want to be, which kudos to them. However, the final point I have to talk about is I'm a stickler for two things. I like gameplay and I like story. That means I will play a game if everything is bad, but I love the gameplay. And sometimes I will slug through the grind for a good story. This game didn't really have either. The strength of this game that I think is trying to do is that this game is trying to sell you on the way it tells its story rather than the actual story. When I say that, this story explains itself in a very interesting, unique way that you have to go through this game 3 times to get to the actual ending, which I think is cool and good. It also tells a story I like a lot through these dialogue parts where you're just reading the text, and I think the way the story paces itself, especially how the text paces itself, that you can hear the typing and clicking of the text coming out even before you see it, which makes it feel like someone behind is typing it to you and then sending it to you. So it makes you feel like you're interacting with someone kind of like over a text message or a conversation. So I kind of like that. Like, it really adds weight that these aren't just text. These are people behind the text, but the reason it is text because these are all robots. So it kind of gives you that cold metallic feel, but it kind of gives you a feel that boom, boom, there's someone feeling behind the machine trying to get out, which I do like. However, the actual story in itself, I really didn't care for. I felt like the reveal in this story wasn't really a reveal. It's something that I didn't really care. Like, I didn't really care at the fact that all the humans were dead. I didn't really care because the humans had never really played a part. It didn't really ever felt like we were trying to, like, the whole point of the androids is they're trying to destroy these machines so that humans can come back or something whatnot, because I didn't even really fully get the story. However, I didn't ever really feel emotionally attached to the humans. I didn't really feel like the androids were so driven by freeing the humans. I didn't really see them as a catalyst for the androids at all. I just felt like they were presence up there and they were just doing their duty downstairs. Like, there wasn't this passion that, oh, I have, like, as an android, I am trying to do this with all my might for my creators. It kind of like there's a distance. So when they all found out to be dead, I didn't even really care because nothing had really happened with the people up in the moon. It was kind of just a distance between that. I like the kind of overruling arc that these androids were getting self-conscious. Oh no, not even androids. Everything mechanical was basically was becoming human, had its own human will. They're all getting these human concepts that machines didn't have. That was the main central theme of the story. And that these... Also, one thing I didn't like, actually, is how I don't think they played on enough how indisposable these robots were. Maybe because I didn't die a lot in my playthrough. Because I feel like you need to play this game, in my opinion, on the hardest difficulty. So you die as much as the game wants you to die. That's one thing I think, because if you die as much as the game wants you to die, then I guess that you're going to get that feel that all these robots are indispensable and you're just another robot dying over again, which I think is the feel they're trying to give. However, I don't like Dark Souls. So if that was the case, I would hate this game. So as me as a casual fan, that's why this game fully didn't click for me, because I'm not the type of person who enjoys dying over and over in the game. And I'm also not the type of person... And for you to get the full experience out of this game, I feel like you need to die over and over and over and over again. Because when you get to the very end, which I won't spoil for you, it kind of sums up this whole trials and tribulations, getting over, like, persevering and get through the end. That's why that kind of didn't sync up for me, because I played it on normal and I only died a handful of times, which you will die in this game a handful of times. So I thought, like, the story... I know its central themes only really come together if you play the game in a certain style of way. And if you grind through this game enough to really get to that central story. I grind through the whole game on normal. And the thing that I think is the most disappointing for me is that if you go through this whole grind, you're going through it because of two things. The ending will be a satisfying conclusion, and steps and markers on the way to get to this conclusion is keeping you interested enough to want to get to this conclusion. And honestly, through playing this game, I didn't feel that the story was doing enough and had enough plot twists and turns to actually want to keep me playing. The first playthrough of this game was I thought it ended. I thought it was a terrible story. I actually thought it was a terrible story. The two characters that I thought were going to be so interesting, Adam and Eve, really fall short. They really weren't fleshed out enough at all. They're here for one half of the story, basically, and then they're gone. You get a bit more context of them through the second play of the story, but in the third, they're literally just gone. They're dead. I didn't think that those two were utilised enough, because those are the most interesting characters in the game, if we're being honest. 2B, as a character, the main woman, isn't that interesting to me. I understand what they try and do with her, but she's not that interesting that she slowly warming up to 9s. 9S, who's 9, is trying to be the most interesting character, and seeing his dynamic go from this nice guy to like literally broken inside, I don't think it didn't really make sense, because it's basically through one half of the story, because basically you play through the same story twice with 2 playthroughs, and then the second half of the story you play through once. It's kind of just like in one half of the story he's the nice guy, in the second half of the story he wants to kill everything. There isn't enough slow progression through to his final like mindset to me, which I didn't really appreciate, in my opinion. Like, I didn't really like it. Well, this is being long. This is gonna be long. Let me finish. And the last character, A2, was simply there to give us a plot twist that one of the main characters dies. Basically, what I'm saying is that A2 and 2B could have been any character. Neither the only person with actual progression and development for me that actually was significant who could have been thing, but actual A2 and 2B could have been any character, and we wouldn't have felt any different about it. I didn't think there was enough character to those people, if I'm being honest. That being said, the game isn't a bad game. I actually, at parts where the game is accelerated and it's fun and it's passionate and so many things, basically I think what this game ultimately suffered from is not enough happens in the space that there is in this game. Too many times I found myself fighting the same type of enemies and getting bored and doing the same type of thing. Variation is there, but it's not presenting to you in a way that you know it's variation. All kind of flows into one. Like, throughout the boss battles, the only boss that I distinguished were actually like their own individual bosses. Was the first boss that you face, which is the woman who wants to be beautiful. She's the only boss that I could actually say had a personality and was actually a boss. I was like, this is a different enemy that I'm facing. All the rest felt like they were just different machines. Like the Goliath, you fought that about 3 times. You use it and you take over it so much it doesn't feel like a boss. There's the circular, what's it called again, enemy with like, it's like a crab, a circle crab that's got pincers and that. That was reused. So many bosses of these were reused and kind of rehashed, and it feel like individual bosses that kind of like this button. Basically, I wanted this game in itself. Every time a new enemy or a new concept happened, I really wanted it that they distinguished it more. Like, this is a certain boss, this is a certain type of enemy, this is a certain type. All the enemies just really felt like they all meshed together too well, and I wanted there to be more individual, that these are different types of enemies that I'm fighting. It's a good game. I don't really give games scores out of 10. I just say play it or don't. It's going to be a cult classic game. This is not personally not one of my favorite games, which I thought it would be because what people are saying, but it's actually one of my personal favorite game. But I played it. I can't really say that I really enjoyed it that much. I can't say that I hated it. It was just a good game. And with that, that's my reviews on Nier Automata. And yeah, thanks for watching. It's been your Hawk fans in the building, man. And we stop recording. Wait, where is it? We stop.